Hello, I'm Reb Risty with Revolutionize Your Marketing, Your Business, Your Life, and we're here today with Alex Brzozowski. I am excited to talk to her. She has an amazing business called Be Organizing, and it is exactly what it says, only it's about organizing your digital space, something we all need. We know we need it, and I'm excited to talk to you, Alex, about how you're doing this for people and clients. And yeah, I'll hand it over to you, Alex. Can you tell my audience a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Yeah, so Alex, like you said, founder of Be Organizing, and we work with people who are drowning in their emails, their photos, their files, their password management, their tasks, their to-dos, their calendaring, their time management. I mean, you name it in your digital world, we can pretty much help you get organized and be more productive, and so that you can spend more time doing what you love, whatever that means to you. It could be growing your business. We do work with businesses as well. It's a huge part of what we do, and work with teams. So it's a very customized approach that we bring to everybody when we work with them, because organizing is not a one size fits all. So we help figure out what works for you individually, or your business or your team, and create a system and process and structure based on that. So that is a little bit about me.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And we've had a chance to get to work together a little bit on messaging and do that. I've been learning about all the things you do. And it's amazing because I don't think people realize that there's a service like this. One, and then, I mean, just by passwords alone drive me crazy. Tell us a little bit about how you got started and why you started Be Organizing.
Yeah, so I started back in 2012, and prior to that, my previous life was really going down the legal world path. I was a criminology and sociology major in college. I loved it, absolutely loved it. I still do, but it's just I became a paralegal. I graduated. I moved. I started my career. I was working for a giant law firm, and this was in 2008. So this was when bankruptcy. It was a bankruptcy law firm, actually, and so we did. Yeah, it was a lot of that going on back then, unfortunately, as we all remember. So I worked there as a paralegal, and it was 100% paperless office, which was
Wow.
insane. Insane, especially a law firm. Like, even to this day, it's still something that law firms, especially ones that have been around for a long time, have struggled with, is moving into more of a, streamlined onto their digital, utilizing their electronics instead, and doing e-filing. Yeah, it's insane. And then I was there for a year, and I got another job and it was a smaller law firm. And there I did wills, trust, probate, estate administration. And I learned that the clients that I was working with, and this was, also, by the way, this is a crucial point, also 100% paperless. So I went from a giant law firm to a much smaller one, where I was the one paralegal for 5 or 6 different attorneys, and they were paperless as well. Again,
Wow, I'm
very
impressed.
unheard of. Yeah, it was impressive, and it just kind of worked out that way. And maybe I don't know. I was just at the right place, right time, type of thing. And I really learned the systems and processes that kept the business in line, and we had structures for everything, and workflows for everything, and file naming and folder, like just everything. There was a system tied to it, and it made sense. And we were part of also improving it. So like, if there were any need to improve the areas to be more organized as our priorities shifted, or as the type of work we were doing shifted, we were empowered to make those changes. So anywho, in that environment, working with our clients, we would have people that, were going through something really horrible. And here I am as a paralegal being like, excuse me, I kind of need I know you just lost your mother. Could you please tell me what their banks, where they banked, what their investments were, where their credit cards were. And they just were like, what? I have no idea. So they had no clue. And I really, in the legal space and being a paralegal, and I didn't want to be an attorney, I knew that there's really not a lot of room to grow into taking on more responsibilities without doing casework. So I thought, you know what? I could start a business doing something like taking the parts of what I love to do and do it with other people. And I loved collaborating and working directly with the clients and being more on their team with them to get their goals accomplished. So I kind of took that and was like, I can make them organized. I can help organize this information, and not just that information, but other stuff too, getting those files in order, getting their emails in order, getting, having their workflows set up, getting their photos set up. And at that time, marketing, we talk about marketing here a lot. And based on the market, yep, the marketing research at the time that I had done, I was with somebody who happened to have a lot of knowledge in that. And he did the research for me. And we found out that physical organizing was more of people were more aware of it and were searching for that. So that's actually where we started. And we started there to just get into the space to then sell our digital organizing services. And then so I left my law firm job, jumped right in, started selling both services, the physical organizing and the digital organizing. And then when COVID hit, it was a horrible thing, but also a huge blessing for us as a business because we could finally close the doors on our physical organizing services and just solely focus on our digital organizing. So that's what brings us here today.
Awesome. Well, I did not know about your legal background, so that's so interesting. And and you just think about attorneys in law is so paper heavy. So you definitely have the good experience. And I know now working with you, you work with individuals, and then you've got businesses, which makes a lot of sense. And it's amazing. I guess in some ways I'm almost just giving up, like it's just my clutter. I don't know what to do with it. What do you like? How do people not find you, but like, what's a common thing that someone's finally like, okay, I need to work with you. I have to get this done.
Yes. Like, what is it that triggers them kind of thing?
Yes.
So it's usually a life-changing event that happens that they are navigating. So a lot of times it's like, as horrible as it is, but like, I'm getting a divorce. It could be really positive. I'm getting married. It could be, I'm selling my business. It could be, I'm buying a business, or I'm taking over a business, or I transitioned to a new job or a new role. I grew, or I'm trying to scale the business, trying to grow the business, trying to grow financially. And I can't do that without having these things in place. And so there's this, and they get to that point where they just don't have the time. And they're overwhelmed. They're stuck, just like you said, that whole, I just don't even know what to do. I'm just in giving up. So they feel very stuck where they are. And it just bubbles up enough where it's like, okay, I got to do something about this. Like this is now causing me to not be able to hit my goals and be able to do what I want to do. Like we've had people, a business client come to us. I know I've shared this with you, Reb, outside of this. And she's like, hey, she owns a company, and she was like, it's taken over my life, and I just want to be able to take my kids to school again. So that was the goal. So we organized her business and her work and her calendar and got her team involved in this, because they have to be involved so that they can, take over the spots that she doesn't need to do. She can delegate, or they can learn the processes that affects all of them. And so that then she could, and she is now, she is taking them to school. That was a huge win for her. She was able to spend mornings with them again.
Yeah.
And she was it's just amazing. So like she came to us for her business, but ultimately it was because just her personal life. She was like, I'm just I'm just going insane. So you never know, like there's always some sort of motivator. Sometimes it's just being able to be prepared, having a little preparedness and feeling on top of it, not letting things slip through the cracks is a huge thing for people. So all of those, but the life transition, there's usually some sort of transition happening that we find, or they've just had enough. They're just, and it's affecting them and not getting what they actually want. in life. So they're just not hitting their goals and they're like, oh, I just need this so I can finally do X, Y, or Z.
No, it's great. I love that. And, I think just the idea of like, now she can spend more time with your children. You can just frees you up to go do other things that are really much more
Yes.
important than digging through your digital files. And oh, my team must hate me, because mine's years of building a mess, and then you add on layers of tools and all these other things. I can only imagine. So when someone finally realizes, right, they've come in, they have a life moment or this change, I still, even working with you, I'm still like, how do you get them to really commit? Because it just seems so overwhelming. Like, where do
Yeah.
you, yeah, how do
So
you?
we have our simplify method. So we go through our simplify method process, which is you can learn about it on our website. We have a blog about it, and we go through that with them, and it really just chunks it out. It makes it more simple, to be quite frank. And it's always, there's just something about doing it with somebody else. And here's the thing, we'll do it for you, with you, or guide you. So you can really work with us in many different ways. So if it's overwhelming to you, like I know that I've had people where they can't confront things going on, like they don't want to go through their email because maybe they did lose somebody very special to their life, and those emails that were coming in during this period of time were about that, or they're trigger that emotional response too. There's that. And sometimes just being like, you know what, I know what I want, I know what I don't want, and can you just put these things, like I don't want to necessarily relive it. Not that I don't think it's good to work through those things. I think that that's
Right.
not our job, though. That's a therapist's job, not our job. We can at least, help get through that on a better, easier way. So really having the ability to know that you have somebody there with you doing it, and making it way more simple than it is. When you're in it, you're in that space. So you're really living, breathing your chaos that you're living in your digital world. And we can kind of take a step back. We've seen it all, by the way. We've seen it all. So like, you're not alone. You're not coming to us
Right.
where you're not shocking us. A lot of people are like, oh my gosh, this is going to be the worst you've ever seen. And we're like, nope, definitely not. And because
No,
there's so
you're
many
not just,
different, that we've just seen it all. And so
yeah.
it's not shocking to us, and it's manageable to us because we do this. So we can look at it and take a step back, which you can't, which is a lot harder for you living in it to do, and
Yep.
really just chunk it out and be like, well, we're just going to focus on this today.
Right.
We're just
I
going to
love it.
look at this, and we're just only going to decide this today. Like, this is
Yeah.
all like, so like our first step in the simplify method, the S, it's an acronym. It stands for specify your goals. So like,
Okay.
why do you want to do this? And then the next step is identify which tool or program you're going to use, if any.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's literally just identifying that we're going to stay in Google Drive for your files, or we're going to stay in Gmail for your emails, or Outlook for your emails, or whatever it is. But like, just identifying that, okay, this is the right thing that we're doing, right? We are not IT specialists. We are not program experts by any means, but we can utilize those things to help us be organized. And a lot of those, like on the digital space, they have to live somewhere. So
Yep.
just like a cabinet or drawer, the cabinets and drawers in this instance are the programs that are being used. So identifying that and being like, okay, so we're in the right lane here. Okay, now we're going to map out what that organizing structure, that's what the M stands for, map out what that's going to look like based on your goals, based on the tool, based on how you're interacting with things, how you want to be able to access them later. And we're going to structure this out type way. Like, we're going to just map it out. And guess what? It's not solid. It can be changed. There's many places to change, and nor should it be solid. It should be ever evolving. Organizing doesn't end. It's always, it's subjective, first of all.
Yeah. Oh,
And
that's great, because I was going to say, like, how long does it take? And yeah, I think you just answered it.
There's just not a one size fits all. I mean, it can take, we have thought some people, it's going to take a really long time. There's no end to us. There's just no end. There's no end of a project, because once you get to the quote unquote end, it's not really the end. You have to maintain it. That's like saying that my kitchen, I'll never have to organize it again and tidy it up ever again. Well, that is just not true. You have dishes that you're using, hopefully,
Right.
and you have to clean the dishes, put them away. There you go again.
Yep.
Or you buy new things, you get new incoming things. And in our digital space, we're constantly getting new things thrown at us. There's always that incoming new stuff, and you have to address it. You have to stay on top of it so it doesn't end. You have to constantly, now it doesn't mean that your system has to necessarily change, but you have to constantly keep up with your system.
Right. Yeah.
And
No,
make changes.
that's a good point. Yeah, I love the kitchen analogy, and I think something you had said too. You're not therapist, but it probably is therapeutic to
Big time.
finally get something organized, put where you can see it. It's easy to find. Your team stops complaining about where's that thing. What version are we using? Yeah, I can only imagine. The other thing that I have learned from you that I thought was interesting is just kind of that emotional connection that we have with our digital space. I'm like, I'm not emotionally connected, but you're right. Like, I'm keeping things I know I need to get rid of, or at least archive it. What would you say are some of the common misconceptions that people have about their digital space?
Yes, that there is that emotional attachment. There is that there's usually something there holding you back that you have to work through. It's very interesting what we dig up. Sometimes it's trust in others that's bubbling up, and we see that. It's very sometimes blaring. And trusting, it could be trusting your team, trusting yourself, trusting your kids, trusting your spouse or your partner. It could be letting go of the past. And one of the big misconceptions, I would say, is that it is not done, like we talked about, but also it's never done. Done. You can't, you can check it off to a point, but it's everyday maintenance, or once, you get into a system, but that's my point. The misconception is that you don't have to change your routine. You do. You have to change something. If you don't change, then nothing's going to change, is what our team says a lot. It's kind of like just with coaching, right? You can go to coaching, but unless you're going to you're going to actually make a new habit or a new change, to do something different, nothing's going to change. So you do have to do things differently. We are bringing that. We are there to implement a new way of looking at it, and a new habit or a new routine. And it could be that somebody else carries it out for you, but that's still something new. That's still like, hey, like, I know we have clients that literally, I have a client that I've been working with for so long. We don't even meet every month. Meaning I'll do the work for her every month, but I don't see her virtually. We work via Zoom and screen share, so we don't have to physically be there. We work with people all over the world.
Trust you.
Yeah, so she trusts that I'm going to do it. And so I am part of the process. And we have many clients that are like that, where they just know, like, okay, and we can be that for them. That's fine. Or they just want to do it themselves, which is also fine. Or they want to hire a team, like a company's a virtual assistant, to keep up with the process.
Right.
And that's great too. But then we just have something in place if you're not going to do it yourself, because that's a big realization. We have people who have great intentions that are like, oh no, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it in between sessions. I'm going to get my homework done. And because we'll give you, if you want homework, we'll give it to you. If you want to get ahead and move faster through this process and not have it take so long, sure, go for it.
And, I was just going to ask too, like, what do you say to people who are like, oh, I'll do it myself. I know I can just do it. I just need an afternoon or a Saturday. I'll get it done.
Yes, we say, okay, great. We give them the assignment. And then if they don't do it, after a couple of times, we bring it up and we'll usually say, like, I usually do the whole, you're not going to do this, are you?
Yeah.
And
You're right.
let's be real here. Are you though? And I mean, we've had a client, like I'll never forget, I don't take on new clients myself anymore. My team does, but I've had a client that a while back, and she still works with us on and off, because I had that conversation with her. Like, she had great intentions. And I just looked at her one day and I was like, but yeah, and that's totally fine. And I said, but are you? And she was like, no. I said, do you want to just save some money and get on a monthly plan and or get on a quarterly or something like that? And she was like, yes. Like, because for her, the weight was lifted just knowing that she was going, that we were going to take care of it for her and with her. And we never do it. When we say for you, what I mean by that too is that you ultimately make the decisions. So if we have parameters to follow and guidelines to follow, which is what we do in our mapping out type in the beginning of the Simplify method process, is got guidelines on what we're keeping, what are we tossing, what's that structure look like. If we have really good idea of what that is, we won't have to get your guidance as much. But if you're unsure or things come up, like that client that I work with, that I do the work for her every single month, there's still things that come up and I'm like, I've been working with her for literally since 2015. And it'll be like, okay, hey, what's this? What is this? What are we doing with this? Where is this? What's the goal here? And she'll be like, oh yeah. Or she'll text me before a session knowing that she had all this stuff coming in about, she's going through a home remodel. So she's like, oh my gosh, could you keep all the blueprints and put it in a folder? I know I have a bunch of that coming in. Could you save those for me? So that she just told me beforehand. So we're a team.
Nice. I like it.
Yeah, it's really cool. So it takes the burden a lot off of people. But all of that to say is that the huge misconception is that they don't have to make this change. She made a huge change in her life. I'm in her life. That was right. She was, and she trusted me with the process and it worked. And it doesn't mean that the first thing that we put in is going to work for you. It's a trial and error. We might try something for a while and then move on. And a lot of people get distracted. I could talk about this all day, so this will be my point. But is the shiny new object syndrome. New programs come out and they're like, oh my gosh, I could try this or I could try that. And it's
stop. So I feel like I could be this person. So
yes. Just really taking that back and being like, that's not, a lot of people fall into that trap and we have to pull them out of that. And just be like, look, there might be bells and whistles to this, but you might not need the bells and whistles. Let's go back to your goals and what you're trying to actually do. What are you actually trying to do here? Do you need all that to do this? Because sometimes you don't. You'd be shocked.
Yeah, no, I am sure. It's funny. I'm always telling my team we got to simplify. But then I'm like, hey, did you see there's this new AI tool or there's this new marketing tool? So I completely respect that, and I love that you're saying trust the process. We do the same with our clients. When we take them through a messaging process, like we did with you. It's trust the process. It will get done. It will get done.
It will.
That.
It will. Yeah. Same thing. Even through the chaos, and sometimes it gets a little messy before it gets clean, right? That's the other thing. You see that a lot in the physical space. It's really easy to see that in the physical space. There's the TV shows where they, Marie Kondo, when she had her show, they took everything out of the closet and it's heaping and you really see it. Now we're not that drastic, but sometimes it kind of gets messy before it gets clean,
Right. That makes sense. And I thought it was interesting too. You said a lot of times the people that you're working with, they may in their physical space be very organized. Their physical space isn't, right? And so it's interesting how that contrast happens as well.
Yes. It's usually the people that we end up working with, they really value the organizing and they just are struggling. So their home is pretty dialed in. and they have a knack for it. Typically, there's a sense, or not even, I mean, not everybody, but there's a sense of, I value this, so therefore I'm doing this. At least in the digital world, like that's our audience typically already has this sense in this clarity in their physical world. It's very interesting, and so they're ready to take it to the next level with their digital.
I love it. I love it. Well, as we're wrapping up here, I just feel like anybody and everybody could use your service. I know that you have offer a lead magnet. If somebody's not quite ready, maybe to call you, get a sense of what you do. What is that offer?
Yeah, so we have our digital declutter calendar, and you can find that on our website, beorganizing.com. And if you are ready to take the leap, feel free. We do have a free consultation where we'll just talk with you and discuss what you're trying to do and see what area we can plunge in first. And we have different offers from there too. So, but start with our digital declutter calendar. It's really a great checklist and type of calendar that you can use to start breaking different areas of your digital life, like to focus on. So it's like, hey, go through this once a month. Like do this. So it kind of gives you a guide to start getting organized in your digital space.
Got it. I love it. I love it. All right. Well, we'll put your contact info in the post. And as always with my audience, we want you to revolutionize your marketing. And part of that is maybe decluttering your inbox or your folder so you can find things and then improve on them. We all know that makes you a better life, but also better business owner, running your business, better team member, all of those things. All right. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Alex. I really appreciate you being on the show and doing the interview with me.
Yes. Thank you so much, Reb, for having me. It's been wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.